Hello everyone and welcome to the final Tempo Storm Wild Meta Snapshot breakdown for the Saviors of Uldum meta. The Saviors meta has been a wild ride, starting with the meteoric rise of Secret Mage and culminating in the dark dominance of SnipSnap Warlock. Now Descent of Dragons looms on the horizon, and the wild meta has settled into a state of equilibrium, with a handful of decks running the top ranks and one deck in particular holding the top spot in a tier of its own. Join us as we take a closer look at the end of the Saviors of Uldum wild meta. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the Tempo Storm Hearthstone YouTube channel to stay up to date with our Hearthstone content. Now let's begin. Starting us off, we have SnipSnap Warlock holding its position in Tier S. The SnipSnap combo forms the basis of one of the most powerful and consistent combo decks we've ever seen in Hearthstone. Thanks to the blistering speed of the combo, as well as the deck's critical mass of draw power and efficient removal, SnipSnap forces aggro decks to go to extreme lengths to threaten lethal in time, and forces control decks to have the right answer at every stage of the game. While the deck is far from unbeatable, it remains the most popular deck at Legend Ladder, and it's said to have no poor matchups in the hands of a skilled player. Since no reliable counter to the deck has emerged, the Wild community is looking forward to balance changes from Blizzard to cut SnipSnap down to size. Until they do, we expect Sniplock to dominate Wild for the foreseeable future. While Sniplock may be the most successful deck at Legend, it's not the most common deck you'll see on the climb. That title is still in the hands of Secret Mage, the original breakout deck from the release of Saviors of Uldum and the top deck of our traditional Tier 1. Thanks to the release of Arcane Flak Mage and Cloud Prince from Saviors, Secret Mage has single-handedly reshaped the format in its own image, forcing out the dominant decks from the Rise of Shadows meta and setting the stage for Sniplock's rise to power. Unlike Sniplock, Secret Mage is held in check by the emergence of counter decks and the presence of targeted hate. Even with the meta's success in keeping it under control, its raw power level and reasonable Sniplock matchup ensure its place at the top of the food chain. Joining Secret Mage in Tier 1, Odd Rogue is the lone high-tier holdout from an era when Baku the Moon Eater and Gen Greymane defined the format. Even though even and odd decks have fallen out of favor, Odd Rogue remains in its position thanks to its upgraded weapon being one of the most consistent board control tools in the game, as well as a never-ending source of damage. With its robust suite of 1-drops, pirates, and magic carpet, few decks can hold dominance of the early game quite like Odd Rogue. Dedicated anti-aggro strategies keep it in check, but the deck's knack for keeping up with the best decks while overpowering undertuned decks ensures Odd Rogue will keep its spot in Tier 1 for the rest of the Saviors meta. Sniplock, Secret Mage, and Odd Rogue are a cut above the rest, but Wild still has a robust line of Tier 2 decks that all have their place in the meta. Let's take a moment to review the most popular of those decks that you can expect to see on your climb to Legend. Highlander decks fueled by Reno Jackson have always been popular in Wild, but the release of Zephyrus the Great from Saviors of Uldum sparked a renaissance in Reno decks that ensures they'll remain powerful and popular for seasons to come. Reno Mage and Reno Warlock are the most common of these. Both combine the power and flexibility of Kazakis' potions with Reno Jackson's full heal battle cry and the strongest removal options and over-the-top win conditions their respective classes have to offer. Zephyrus' unique battle cry shores up the weaknesses of Highlander-style decks by finding the best answer or game-winning threat you need at any stage of the game. Reno decks are known for their engaging gameplay and high skill cap, and are sure to be mainstays for the rest of the Saviors meta and beyond. Mech Hand Buff Paladin is another breakout deck of the Saviors meta that consistently finds itself at the top of our reports Tier 2. Mech Paladin first emerged as a challenger against Secret Mage, but its ability to combine cost reductions, scaling AoE buffs, and magnetic minions to build massive threats quickly proved to be shockingly effective against the meta at large. This deck's tendency to go all in on its threats makes it vulnerable to unconditional removal and silences, and this vulnerability keeps the deck locked in Tier 2 for the time being. Still, with the right draw, Mech Paladin can overwhelm virtually any matchup, so don't let it catch you off guard if you're playing against it. Our final Tier 2 deck of this breakdown is one we're seeing pop up more and more thanks to its power and popularity in Standard. Evolve Shaman is making waves in Wild, with the core combo of Evolve plus Desert Hare and Mogu Flesh Shaper being supplemented with Corridor Creeper and Unstable Evolution to cheat out high-costed threats quickly. Even though this archetype is popular among Shaman decks on ladder at the moment, builds can vary widely. Our featured list takes an aggressive approach that combines powerful early minions and over-the-top burn with the Evolve package to pressure the opponent quickly. Even with the Saviors meta winding down, Evolve Shaman has a lot of potential, so be sure to keep it on your radar. The Saviors of Uldum meta is largely solved, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for offbeat decks to be successful. Wild is full of powerful synergies that come together in interesting ways. For instance, you're surely familiar with Mechathune Warlock, and you may have played around with the new Warlock quest Supreme Archaeology, but what happens when you put them both together? Our featured legend rank Mechathune Warlock list from Memnarch takes a page out of Sniplock's book and features a turbo draw engine with not only novice engineers and loot hoarders, but questing explorers and plot twists as well. This heavy emphasis on drawing cards ensures you have access to your powerful defensive cards when you need them and helps you deplete your deck quickly. Once the quest reward is unlocked, you have the potential to draw high impact cards for 0 mana, including pieces of the Mechathune combo itself, making it easier to pull off the combo than ever. Quest Mechathune Warlock does powerful things while staying off the beaten path, so be sure to give it a try as the Saviors meta winds down. The Saviors of Uldum meta is in its final weeks, and SnipSnap Warlock, Secret Mage, and Odd Rogue have a fierce hold of the format on the road to legend. Even so, Wild remains a broad format with a wide variety of archetypes just waiting to be explored. The upcoming release of Descent of Dragons is sure to be an exciting time, so be sure to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with our content leading up to the new expansion. As always, check out the full meta snapshot for more details on how to conquer the meta and become legendary. Thanks for watching!